Yo, what's going on, guys? So today, actually, I want to go over something completely different that's not really involved with the kayak so much, but it is a vital piece of equipment, and that is your tackle storage. So I have recently upgraded. This is not the one that I'm using. I had 4 of these. I think these are $10 for a 4-pack at Walmart. They do the job. They are not waterproof. I would consider it water resistant because it does keep, water off of your baits. It's got a measuring thing up here up to 12 inches. This is a Plano, I believe. It's a 3700. Holds a lot of baits. Holds a lot of baits in there, a lot of customization. One of the things that I'm observing right now is I would say maybe 2 inches, there's a cutout that you can add for your different style of baits. So very good solution. I've used this for years, this style for years. The one thing I want to point out, and the reason why I've switched, is because after a long season of fishing and you go to store your products, those hard-earned products that you've spent a lot of money on, I've been finding that I've been coming back to the next season with like a bunch of rust on my hooks. Like my Z-Man EWG hooks, those are probably my favorite hooks, and coming back to see, or the Ned locks, coming back and seeing rust on those the next season when you're ready to go is very frustrating. The last 2 years, I'm pretty sure I've taken like my golf brush tool and some WD-40 just to brush that stuff off, but it's so frustrating to have to do that. So I did a little bit of research, and I see, a lot of guys are spending the money, and it's kayak fishing at the end of the day. I'm not trying to spend a ton of money to be out fishing on a kayak, but here we are. I'm running a Titan X, and I've got a Hobie, I've got a Jackson. Whatever floats my boat, I'll have, but it shouldn't be like that. I shouldn't be spending that kind of money on kayaks, and if I do, I should just really have one kayak. So this is the Plano 3700 box. This is new to me, and we're gonna compare this against a competitor, which would be this Kastking box. So big and small differences between the two of them. One of the first things I noticed is when you pop this open, that's locked. Like that's watertight. So that pops open like that. So we'll do that again. Top of that open. This lifts up, and the top comes with that. The other cool thing about this, again, it's waterproof. It's got really, really strong construction through the plastic here. It's not cheap plastic by any means. Very, very, it's not hollow sounding. The other cool thing about this too is, I should have just emptied this before I showed you guys, but I don't know. Yeah, you can see right up here, like all of these ridges, like I can put a bait almost every half inch. So if you've got hooks that you want to put in here, spare hooks, weights, whatever it may be, you can put in here. Now with this being open, one of the cool things I like, you can put this anywhere. You can order more of these. This is a water wick. This is going to absorb a lot of that leftover water in your left on your baits. Because if you're like me, I'm not just throwing things in my boat half the time. I do like to try to put them back. When you put them back, it'll absorb a lot of that water. So here's an example of a bait from last year. I'm just now noticing it. Come here. All right, it's wanting to stick. So, but these are not cheap. I think that's a very expensive Guggen crankbait. But you see that rust? Like that's very tacky. I don't like it. It makes the hook really dull, so you get a lot of misses. That's that fisherman's paranoia. I know some of you guys will make fun of me for that, but that's important. Keep your stuff shiny. That's a nice, shiny, brand new bait, no rust. So keep that rust off your tackle boxes. So that's the Plano Edge Professional 3700 Standard Edition. Plano does make this in various sizes. I do, here, give me 1 second. I do have the smaller version. I carry 2 smaller versions. I'm not much of a pan fisherman. I don't sit there and try to mess around with bluegills or crappie, sunfish, or anything like that. Unless I'm having a bad day of bass fishing, then I'll go sit there and throw a little gold hook and get my enjoyment. So one of these containers is exclusive for just like panfish. So that's all I have for my panfish. Just little twister tails. I run a lot of micro neds. One of the better baits I think around. And what I do with that micro ned is I run these little tiny, I don't know if you can see that, these little tiny VMC eyes on there. So it's got the weight of my Ned micro, but it's got a little eye in there that just kind of point or sticks out. So same, these are the 2 Plano Edge boxes. So 3700 and the 3600 right here. What I found is, and what made me actually get these, aside from the rusting issue, is these in the Hobie, these wouldn't fit. So that's, or how am I trying to word that? These fit in the Titan X. These edges fit in the Titan X perfect. They don't fit in the Hobie and the standard stock stuff that they provided, or your center mount, they don't fit in there. So you almost have to make room for this in your black pack, to where I've got one on each side of that Titan, and that makes for a good day of fishing. The other 3700 is all my terminal tackle that I keep in here. I have no rust on any of this stuff. It's essentially brand new hooks. Oh, just while we're on this topic, these bad boys right here, I know people are putting these with, I don't even know what you would call it at the moment, but I run this Texas eye on a crawfish, like a Z-Man hella craw, and holy cow, don't tell anybody, because that is lights out. You're supposed to run them on this right here, right? But I get, with that Z-Man Elastex, this will hit the bottom, but that Elastex will make this basically float up, bounce around. So that's my little secret that I don't tell my friends. They ask me what I'm using, and I tell them little hella craw, and I let them try to figure it out. It's fun to catch fish. It's also fun to outfish your friends. And if you have found my channel and you just so happen to try that, let me know how it works out for you. So on to the next thing. This is the Kastking's version, okay? So this is very nice, tough plastic. I do feel like there's a little bit difference in the plastic on the actual top half. Maybe it's not as dense, but they do a good job of trying. The one thing that I noticed right away is the Kastking doesn't have that label mark. So if you're gonna keep specific baits in a specific one, I suppose you could take a Sharpie and write that in there. But this is the other thing. This pops up from the bottom, it releases. So this is complete opposite. So after having both of them, I noticed this after a while. So this top, this releases. Now I have to make this double action, okay? So let me show you that one more time, because it is a little bit confusing. So if you're grabbing baits, you're gonna have to be cautious, because this flips open, and now you have to get your baits out of there, okay? The Plano, same thing, flips open, but this stays with it. I tend to like that a little bit better. It took me probably 3 or 4 times out to realize that they were different actions. I always felt like this one was a little bit different, but going back to this Plano, or this Kastking, same style, almost the same setup. So you have basically your 1/2-inch gaps all the way through. Yes, I can pull all those out. My favorite color is orange. Can't even lie about that. So looking at this yellow for me, even though it's kind of a nicer box, and I'm gonna use both of these, so don't get me wrong there. I'm gonna use both of these. It's just that this one, I haven't had time to fill it up. My other one is full though. So you've got on the Kastking, you do have the measuring stick up top too, or we'll call it up to 12 inches, 0 to 12. The gray bottom, and the other thing is you have, it's not that water, whatever they called it on the other one, but essentially the same thing. It's basically a gel pack. Keeps those baits, absorbs that water, keeps everything really nice and new looking. So it's very important to me to take care of my baits because they are getting super expensive right now. I remember, I think back when I started fishing, I could buy a rattle trap from Walmart for $1.50, maybe $2. Sometimes catch it on clearance for $1, but now it's just one of those things where you go out, you buy a lipless crankbait, $6, and it's like, why did I even buy that? Because I might have one of those days where I'm not catching anything on it, and for me, I think that's why I became such a soft plastics guy. I get a lot of use out of that Z-Man product, and I was taught on a wacky worm and using that Yamamoto, or the Gary Yamamoto, if I'm saying that correctly, that Senko, that wacky style. That's really nice. And I'm not sponsored by Walmart. I'm not sponsored at all, to be honest, but I got all of my Yamamoto baits at Walmart this year for $4.95 compared to like Cabela's for $8. I'm not gonna spend $8 on a black and blue wacky worm. I think that's outrageous. I think if I get to a point where I'm spending that kind of money on a wacky worm, I'll make my own. So basically, to sum this video up, these are both 3700s. I know that there's probably a lot of people out there who want to go in and figure out which one's right for them. You're not gonna have an issue with either. They're the same thing, in my opinion. Yes, this one opens up differently. The top plastic seems a little bit cheaper. I don't necessarily think that it is. It's just the way it is. This one on sale right now, you can get on Amazon. I'm gonna take a look, for $21.24. And that's just on sale. The normal price for this is $32.99. So one of these boxes, $32.99. So let me take a look at that. $132 for 4 of these, right? That's a lot of money to fill up your black pack or whatever, or however many of these you need. But I always go buy 4 of whatever, so that's a little too much. And it does come down to cost, and I know that's probably why you guys clicked on this video. The Kastking, I got that pulled up as well. That is, oh, I thought I had it pulled up. Kastking box, a 2-pack, $39. So we'll round that up, $80. $80 for 4 of these to do essentially the same thing, right? I guess if I had to absolutely, and you forced my hand to pick a winner, I'd probably go with the Plano. And the only reason why is because of this and the label. You can wipe that off. Other than that, you have to tell me what you guys think. Is the label and the way that this opens that much more important to you? And I don't know what's going on there. Oh, there we go. Now it's on. Is it that much more important to you to where you need it to open that way and you need the label on there? Absolutely not. I'd save the money and go with the Kastking. But yeah, guys, tell me what you think of this video. Tell me what you use. I do run a black pack, and I can't wait to go over that with you guys. So thank you. Make sure you like and subscribe to this video, and leave some comments.